You know that feeling, right? That sinking feeling in your gut when you realize you've messed up and you have to make things right. But what does that actually take? Well, today we're going to explore a really detailed blueprint for atonement, one that comes from ancient Jewish wisdom, and it offers an incredibly powerful guide for how to truly repair harm.
I mean, it's a question we all face at some point. Is a simple, "I'm sorry," ever really enough? Or is there a deeper, more intentional way to fix the damage we've caused? This ancient framework we're about to dive into offers an answer that is, you'll see, surprisingly modern and structured.
Okay, so the core concept we're unpacking today is called Kapparah. Now, this isn't just a single action, it's a whole process. The word itself means to cover or wipe away, which I think just perfectly captures the goal. To truly, genuinely clean the slate, not just paper over the cracks. This is the architecture of making things right.
So let's get into the blueprint itself. In Jewish law, making amends isn't just about feeling bad or guilty. Not at all. It's a deliberate, step-by-step process that's designed to methodically repair the damage. You really can think of it as an architecture for taking responsibility.
Now, this is where the blueprint gets really specific and, honestly, super interesting. The entire process, the whole thing, hinges on one crucial first question. Who did you wrong? Because the path you need to take to make things right depends entirely on that answer.
So the process immediately splits into two totally distinct paths. It's like a fork in the road. On one side, you have wrongdoings against God, things like ritual or religious violations. Okay, those are handled through a spiritual path. But on the other side, you have wrongdoings against other people. I'm talking about harming someone through theft or gossip or injury. And for those, there's a completely different and very practical set of rules to follow.
And this right here, this is the absolute cornerstone of the entire system. I mean, let this sink in. No amount of prayer, no religious ritual can fix the harm that you did to another person. You cannot bypass the person you hurt and go straight to God for forgiveness. It just doesn't work that way. You have to go to them first and make it right directly, period.
Okay, so if you've wronged another person, what does making it right actually involve? What do you have to do? Well, the framework doesn't leave you guessing. It provides a mandatory how-to guide for that deep personal work.
This whole process is called teshuvah, and the word literally means returning. It's such a powerful idea, right? It's not just about apologizing. It's about returning to your better self, returning to a state of integrity. So if Kapparah is the overall goal of wiping the slate clean, teshuvah is the engine, the personal work you have to do to actually get there.
And teshuvah is broken down into 4 distinct, non-negotiable steps. You can't skip one. First is recognition. You have to acknowledge without any excuses that what you did was wrong. Just radical honesty with yourself. Second is genuine regret. This is not about shame, it's about developing true empathy and feeling sincere remorse for the pain you caused. Third is confession. You have to verbally state what you did. Saying it out loud makes it real. And finally, the most critical step of all, resolution. You must make a firm internal commitment that you will never repeat that action again. It's this powerful journey from just being aware to creating lasting change.
So you might be wondering, where did this system come from? It didn't just appear out of nowhere. It actually evolved dramatically over thousands of years. So let's zoom out for a second and see how the practice of atonement itself shifted from something very physical to something deeply spiritual and internal. This timeline shows this huge pivotal shift. In ancient times, way back before the year 70 CE, atonement often involved a very physical act, an animal sacrifice at the Holy Temple in Jerusalem. But after the temple was destroyed, well, that just wasn't possible anymore. The entire system had to be reinvented, and it was by moving from the external to the internal.
So what replaced those physical sacrifices? These 3 spiritual pillars. First, there's tefillah, which is sincere prayer. Second is teshuvah, that powerful 4-step process of internal change we just talked about. And third is tzedakah, which means performing acts of justice and charity, doing good in the world. The whole focus of making things right moved from an external ritual to an internal transformation.
And this brings us to what's probably the most famous part of this whole process, Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. But its role is so often misunderstood. It is not a magic reset button. It's the powerful culmination of all the personal work we've been discussing. Yeah, think of it as the grand finale. The ancient sources describe it as the day when the gates of heaven are wide open. But that clean slate it offers is only available to those who have already done the hard work, making things right with people and completing the 4 steps of teshuvah. It's an earned conclusion, not some automatic free pass. And even then, the process is really nuanced. It's not one size fits all. For minor wrongdoings, the personal work of repentance, that teshuvah process, is enough to atone right away. For more severe acts, repentance kind of puts a pause on the punishment, and then Yom Kippur comes in to provide that final cleansing. But for the most serious category, atonement is seen as a lifelong process, something that's only considered complete at the very end of one's life.
So when you look at this whole ancient architecture, it really suggests a profound shift in how we think about this. What if the goal of atonement isn't just about being forgiven? What if it's actually about the difficult, transformative work of becoming a better person, someone who's less likely to cause harm in the first place? Maybe the real goal isn't just wiping the slate clean, but learning how not to write on it so carelessly ever again.